Hello and welcome to WMATA's procurement video training series. In this video, you'll learn how to create and submit a monthly invoice package for cost reimbursable task orders. When a task order is awarded, the prime consultant receives their notice to proceed and onboarding letter. The notice to proceed letter contains details of the task order, including the notice to start and contract end date. The onboarding letter provides details and guidance for management of the task and instructions for using Procore. Procore is WMATA's cloud-based repository system where primes will submit documentation, correspondences, deliverables, and invoice packages for the task awarded. The first invoice is required to be submitted within 45 calendar days of the notice to proceed date. Then, each subsequent invoice is due on the 15th of each month. Invoice packages are submitted and approved in the Invoice tab of Procore. A complete invoice package consists of several items. First, the summary page of the invoice, a consultant person-hour report along with associated documents, a consultant-subconsultant expense report with associated documents, a progress report, invoice checklist, and a financial management log. Let's start creating your invoice package. Go into Procore, click on the PMCM templates and forms, documents, forms and templates. Here, you'll find all the latest templates, checklists, and forms used for creating your invoice. Next to each template, you'll notice the acronym TOM, which stands for Task Order Management Form, followed by a number for reference. As process improvements are made and compliance requirements change, the TOM forms are frequently updated. Ensure all consultants, subs, and DBE use the latest version. Check the template folder each Friday in Procore for updates, or if you want a summary email digest of version updates, click on Track folder. The first form is TOM 26A Cost Reimbursable Invoice Template. This will generate the invoice summary cover page, consultant person-hour report, and expense report. Download and open the Excel file. You'll see the Summary tab. Enter the invoice billing period, dates, and information that is consistent with the scope of work. The WBS task number column corresponds to the 001, 002, and 003 labor tabs, which is the consultant person-hour report. This will populate hours and rates based on data entered in the respective tabs. Now, let's take a look at the consultant person-hour report found in the labor tab. Many of the fields on the summary page flow to the secondary tabs to reduce manual entry. On the top left, click on the checkbox to select if it's a prime or a subconsultant filling out data. If primes and subs do not have the same invoice period, no cost should be billed on the current period that is dated after the end date of the current invoice. Before entering this field, confirm that all employees listed are approved to work on the project and are billed with an approved rate. This is normally from your negotiated price proposal, TOM 19, that serves as the budget for the task order. If new personnel are added or labor rate is changed, either a contract modification needs to be executed or a TOM 56 personnel approval form will need to be signed and included in the package. Consultants should seek pre-approval from WMATA before new personnel or changes in rates are implemented. In the direct salary cost section, enter all the employees' name and project classification/positions. Ensure they match the approved roster from the budget. The next field is CIP, which stands for Capital Improvement Plan, and serves as the billing and funding codes for many, but not all WMATA task orders. This is typically noted in the award letter. In the hours field, enter the regular hours worked, and if applicable, any overtime hours. If any employee works overtime, which means working more than 40 hours in a 7-day period on the same task order, then pre-approval is needed before claiming reimbursement. The TOM 27 overtime pre-approval form needs to be completed and signed by the task manager, which should be pursued in advance of the overtime hours being worked. In the rates field, enter the approved direct hourly rates. This will automatically calculate the subtotal base hours and salary, which should be verifiable with the timesheets. Now let's take a look at the overhead rates. The approved overhead rates for home and field should match what is on the approved cost proposal. Keep in mind that consultants who work from a home office, which is typically a consultant site, rather than a field office or on location at WMATA, may have different rates that may differ based on the cost proposals. Overhead rates may be subject to change annually, so please consult with your COTAR for direction. The consultant comment field is used to communicate to the invoice reviewers. Any exceptions, notes, and updates should be logged. This is an opportunity to proactively clarify items when seeking reimbursement on an invoice. Staff under this task order should be keeping timesheets and a breakdown hours worked by project. For all the labor hours that are populated in the summary, timesheets are required to be complete, signed, and approved. Timesheets should not have hours included in the invoice that are not being charged for the project, for example, holidays, sick days, and so on. Names, hours, and pertinent details should match with the labor tab and allow for invoice reviewers to compare the recorded and billed hours. Make sure to include all signed and approved overtime forms. On the right, you'll see all the WMATA holiday lists. When WMATA is closed on holidays, consultants may need to seek authorization to work and will need to complete TOM 28 Holiday Pre-Approval Form. It is advised to coordinate with your task manager well in advance and have a signed complete form included in the invoice package. For consultants who may need to work during times of inclement weather, send your WMATA task manager an email for approval to work and include a copy of the email approval in the invoice package. The consultant expense report and sub-consultant summary page is where non-salary costs are reported per employee. Begin by adding employee's name and position that have reimbursable expenses. Each expense that is recorded should have an associated legible receipt or form of supporting documentation. Now let's go ahead and fill out the rest of this form. If an employee rented or leased a vehicle, enter the amount and mileage in the leased vehicle reduced section. If it's their own personal vehicle being used, enter the cost in the personal standard mileage rate field. Mileage reimbursement requires a completed TOM 58 form and calls for a map of the trip. In the per diem and travel section, enter cost for meals, hotels, travel, and transportation. Among other categories of other direct costs would need to be pre-approved in your negotiated cost proposal. The WMATA travel guidelines conform to the GSA schedule of approved rates. Since the U.S. government fiscal year ends on September 30th, GSA rates are refreshed as of October 1st for the next 12 months. Local mileage expenses only apply if traveling more than 75 miles or if traveling out of state to get to an airport or train station to come to the DC area for WMATA task order work, or would require a user to complete the TOM 57 travel authorization form. In the sub-consultant section, enter the DBE sub-consultant and the non-DBE sub-consultant invoice total. Enter any other direct cost for materials, supplies, as well as printing and reproduction. Double check to confirm that the WBS or subtask number, hours, and calculated amounts all align. Next, complete the task order DBE spending data, then add the consultant's name. DBE participation can be tracked by the Prime consultant through the expenditure log, which presents the current and cumulative DBE spending associated with this task order's invoice. Once all the information is complete, select the file, print, select PDF, and select letter size 8x5 times 11. This will generate a summary page and will be the first page of your invoice package. The next part of the invoice package is the progress report. Use the TOM25 template and fill out all the required information to demonstrate the progress made, activities performed, and other information relevant to the current billing period. This is a consolidated report for work performed and monthly achievements from primes and their subs. Now that all items are complete, all prime and sub consultants are responsible for ensuring their invoices follow WMATA billing and payment guidelines. They require a quality check. Each invoice will need to be complete, correct, and timely. Use the TOM29 invoice checklist to ensure that all items are in the package, calculations are accurate, and all signatures are completed. This checklist is a common resource for consultants of all levels, as well as WMATA reviewers and approvers in the Procore workflow. As a final review, consolidate all required documents in the proper order. Adobe PDF or similar software can be used to combine all documents into one file. Save the PDF with the following naming convention: year, contract number, task order number, then the payment number. The financial log, TOM34, shows deliverables, financials, and other relevant task order information on the first tab. The second tab includes a change order log that shows impacts due to the changes in the task order budget. This includes impacts to cost, DBE, DBE goals, schedules, and so on. The TOM34 Excel spreadsheet should be attached with the Prime submission in Procore. Now the package is complete. Create the invoice in Procore. Fill out all the required fields and attach the invoice package. Then, the financial management log. At the bottom of the screen, you can set up your workflow. The name for the reviewer, contracting officer's technical representative, preparer, payment review team, and accounts payable should be issued with the NTP for a task order. Confirm the latest names and point of contacts with your WMATA task manager. The task manager, project manager, and other Procore workflow distribution fields are not pre-populated and can be selected from the drop-down list. The Prime consultant should select the appropriate workflow users and distribution list. If the invoice is deemed acceptable, the process should take 30 days for WMATA to run through the multi-step approval process and issue payments to the Prime. In turn, the Prime consultant must promptly pay sub-consultants within 10 days of being paid. If the invoice is deemed unacceptable, the invoice may be held pending clarifications or may need to be corrected and resubmitted. If this occurs, the approval process will start over from the beginning and the prompt payment clock will reset. If resubmission is necessary, it would have a revision number associated to the new attachment. The original invoice file should be renamed as void in Procore. It is advised to keep the original file in the Procore attachment list, but ensure it is marked void, so the correct or latest file is reviewed and processed. WMATA reviews the invoice again and approves it for payment. If approved, WMATA makes payments on Tuesdays and Fridays. For final invoices, when the work is complete, the Prime consultants submit the final invoice to WMATA. The last invoice should include the word Final Invoice on the invoice, and the appropriate field in Procore should be selected. Once it's approved for payment, the task order team will close out the task and issue a certification of completion to the prime. This concludes the invoice training. Remember to always use the most current templates and perform quality checks to ensure invoices are complete and submitted on time. If you have any questions, please contact your WMATA point of contact.